So let's talk about dating while trans. I saw a video from a content creator here on TikTok where he was essentially saying that if you don't want trans women to treat you as if you're transactional, then you need to start treating trans women like they're human beings. And I couldn't agree more. And I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if this is still true in today's day and age, being that trans women have so much more visibility than what they've had in the past, be it on social media, be it in the politics, what have you. The world is aware of trans women in a way that it has never been aware of trans women in particular before, and trans men. Shout out to the trans men, because I don't feel like they get enough, their fair share of the spotlight when it comes to conversations around trans people. And I say that because when I was early on in my transition, most of the men that I encountered, their awareness of trans women came through adult movies, right? They would be surfing, this side or that side, and suddenly the algorithm would say, boom, here's something new and here's something fresh. And it would be one of the dolls, right? And men being the open-minded individuals that they are in private, because men are a lot more open-minded than they get credit for in private. They don't have the luxury of being as open-minded as they are in their minds in public, because we all know the stigma that exists in the world that we live in. So a lot of them have to suppress who they really are, what they really want, what they really desire, right? But in private, I'm telling you, no one knows you the way your algorithm knows you. Your algorithm knows your secrets, baby. And so a lot of men who would be perusing these sites, and they would come across a movie that was inclusive of trans women, and they would become intrigued by that because they were doing things that maybe this man had desired or didn't know that they desired, and a light bulb would come on. And so they would develop this attraction towards trans women based off of the movies that they were watching. Now, as a trans woman, the problem for me comes that a lot of men lack the intelligence to understand that that's a movie. What you're seeing on these adult sites, these adult content sites, that's a movie. That's not reality. The young lady that you see in that movie, she was paid, she was compensated. I hope compensated handsomely. In most cases, they're not, because they're being exploited. But anyway, she was compensated nonetheless for the work that she performed that brought you to this awareness. And then you decide that you want to take those fantasies and bring them into the real world, right? That you're tired of, having Vaseline keep you company, lotion in a wet, warm towel keep you company. You're ready to actually engage with a full-fledged human being, right? So then you take it, you start looking on dating sites. I don't know what your methods of engagement may or may not be, but you begin the process. And you encounter a trans woman in real life. And then you start to think that what you saw in that movie is who we are. So now I have to burst your bubble and reset your expectations, okay? No, I don't sleep with my girlfriends. I'm not attracted to femininity. No, I don't sleep with my girlfriends. Do you sleep with your boyfriends? Okay? No, I'm not tossing your salad. No, I'm not having sex in public. No, I'm not snowballing and doing all of the other disgusting things that you may see someone on film do. That is a movie. They were paid, they were compensated to do that. She does not do that. I'm not sending you nude pictures. I'm not sending you nude videos. I'm a woman who is career-oriented, who has positive things going on in my life. I don't get down like that. So I have to reset your expectations and let you know I'm a trans woman. Heavy on the woman. And just like you respect any other woman, respect my womanhood as well. And that creates a problem. And that's why I'm curious to know if it's still the same for trans women in this day and age as it was 10, 15 years ago. Because of the amount of awareness and the amount of visibility. I'm hoping that it's changed. And so a lot of these men, the very first question, let's say you're on Tinder, right? And you meet a guy and you say, hey, my name is Bianca, and I'm a trans woman. And he's like, oh, cool, I love trans women. I've been into trans women for a long time. I've been wanting to meet one. Then they start asking you questions. Are you top or bottom? Am I what? Are you top or are you bottom? Sir, I'm a woman. Okay? I'm a trans woman. If the conversation about top or bottom isn't being introduced by me, don't bring that up. I'm immediately turned off. Immediately turned off. Then they'll ask you questions like, how big are you? How big am I? Big enough to know that this conversation is going absolutely no goddamn where. This is going nowhere. Because he's bringing all of those expectations from these adult movies that he's seen into this interaction and hypersexualizing me in a way that I don't want to be hypersexualized. I just want to have a conversation like a normal human being. And so when you start to talk to me that way, it triggers something in me that makes me say, okay, he does not see me as a human being, so I need to stop seeing him as one. So at that point, I don't see you as a man anymore, I see you as a wallet. And now it's become transactional. Now I'm trying to figure out how much I can get out of you. Because you're objectifying me physically, it's my turn to objectify you financially. So now my line of questions are going to change. What do you do for a living? What kind of car do you drive? Do you own or do you rent? When have you taken a vacation? I'm trying to assess whether or not financially you're going to be do the things that I need you to do. If you're trying to assess whether or not I can do the things that you want to do. And that doesn't matter if I'm attracted to you or not. Because even if I had a physical attraction to you and you start off on that page, that attraction is immediately diminished, and now I just see you as an opportunity. Because what I'm not doing is walking away from this interaction with the short end of the stick. I'm not walking away with a wet box and a dry pocket. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. And it's hard to date as a trans woman because, I've had guys who will ask you questions like, who do you live with? And my question is, why are you worried about who I live with? You're not coming over here. Who do you live with, sir? Oh, I'm staying with my sister for a little bit. Then why are you dating? If you don't have your own place, why are you even on a dating app? You're in no condition to be dating anyone right now. And certainly not me. Certainly not a woman of my caliber. Why are you even talking to me if you're on your sister's sofa? You should be on every possible job board, filling out every application that you can even think of. You shouldn't have time to be talking to me. That already tells me that you're not qualified to be over here. Because it's serious business over here. Oh, I was just asking. You weren't just asking. You were asking for a very specific reason, because what you're trying to do is get insight or intel on my environment to see whether or not it's a safe environment for you to come into where you won't be identified. And my whole rationale, young trans girls who are growing up, if I can't come into your space, you can't come into mine. Get a hotel room. I'll meet you there. Because we're going to operate on a level playing field.